fighting games are really awesome, and an awesome soundtrack really gives a fighting game that extra punch. Get it? Yeah. And you know how I love me some soundtracks, so I figured I'd slap together a top 7 list of the best fighting game soundtracks. So, here you go! If you had Cartoon Network as a kid and enjoyed the glory days of Toonami, then you know all about Gundam Wing. I don't really remember if the original theme played on Toonami or not, but the original show had a gorgeous theme song. But since we're talking about the game here and not the show, I'd say this is a pretty damn good 16-bit cover. The game had a really awesome soundtrack. It captured the anime in a way that most video games at the time could not. Those echoing electric guitar tones remind me of Mega Man X, and when it comes to video game soundtracks, comparing to Mega Man is one hell of a compliment. This game really shows off what the Super Nintendo could do for gaming music. The Super Nintendo had its limits, so it didn't age terribly well, but, you know, still good. Worthy of my number 7 slot, at least.
Get ready.
I played this game to death in the arcade, and when it was ported to Sega Saturn, I was a very, very happy boy. If you can't tell by now, I really like the giant robots fighting game idea, and this one, hands down, was absolutely the best. It was an interesting take on a fighting game, and it had a lot of interesting mechanics, but mostly it was the music that made me love this game to pieces. In the same way that Gundam Wing was a great sample of what the Super Nintendo could do for gaming soundtracks, Virtual On was a great sample of what the Sega Saturn could do. The soundtrack is just pungent with Sega's aroma. If you've played games like Virtua Fighter 2, Nights into Dreams, or Sonic Adventure, you know exactly what I mean. Sega had this well-paced, spacey, electronic feel that I really haven't heard since the death of the Dreamcast. May she rest in peace. It could be that I'm just putting this soundtrack on here because it's got that Sega-y sound that I've grown up with, but hey, I love it, and that's why it's number 6 on my list. Okay, you can't really have a top whatever fighting game list and not include Street Fighter. It's like a fighting game sin or something. To be honest, I was never really much of a fan of the Street Fighter series, at least up until this one. As far as music goes, the older songs are great, but I feel like these remixed versions are an improvement on the old 16-bit song. But most of all, in my opinion, this game is on the list because of the theme song, Indestructible.
I can feel it coming over me. I feel it all around me.
Okay. I know that most of you hate this song, but it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Plus, that intro really gets me. It's pretty catchy, and it gets me in the mood for fighting games. Also, Guile's thing goes with everything. Even this list. In a versus game like Capcom vs. SNK 2, they didn't just grab the themes from the characters from their original games and just remix them, cause that's just lazy. Instead, we get this soundtrack that makes it really feel like it's a worldwide tournament. Instead of a character-based stages and themes, they're more set in fighting locations, and music to go with that area. That way the songs are really atmospheric. A lot of these songs are really energetic and unique. Plus, you know, they get you pumped. Hey, we even get some disco, too. What? There's nothing wrong with disco, right? Right? Even though Capcom vs. SNK 2 is the game that I selected, you guys gotta check out this song for the player select for Capcom vs. SNK 1. It's the best player select song I've ever heard. Hey, remember that one movie about that dude who liked to box? I kind of remember something like that. Yeah, didn't he have some kind of training montage that got us all really excited? Oh, okay, well, check this out. This is pretty sweet, huh? You know why that works? Well, I don't know, you tell me or whatever, but my best guess is that Punch-Out theme is a triumphant kind of song and gets you really pumped. Works for one boxer, might as well work for the other, right? I would have put this a lot higher on my list, but there's really only one Punch-Out song in the entire soundtrack. It's just the same song that keeps getting remixed and covered for different nationalities of the fighters. So, one song. Yay! When it comes to fighting games, you really want a soundtrack that can get you excited, something that can get you pumped, something with a lot of tension. So, you know, electric guitar meets violin and choir. Oh my god, I didn't know Sephiroth was in this game. BlazBlue has this incredible collection of instruments that it uses in the soundtrack. I know I'm gonna miss a few, but I can hear an electric guitar, a harp, an organ, a piano, a synthesizer, a lot of percussion, and at least 2 different kinds of cymbals. It's mind-boggling to think of all of the work that went into each one of these songs when you think of what the composers had to work with. Most of these songs always come off with really high energy, an epic rock feel. It's like as if Nightwish wrote all the music to the game or something. And nothing says epic quite like Nightwish. The game itself is a button-smashing, combo-tastic clusterfuck of a fighter. So when your palms are sweaty, your eyes are glued to the TV, and you're counting every last frame, all you need to hear is a little bit of electric guitar, and it really gets your heart pumping. But then there's this song. Damn it, Carl! No one likes you! Before I move on to the fabled number 1, I figured I'd toss an honorable mention or 2. Nah, just one. And that'd be Super Smash Bros. Brawl. It's got a great theme song. It's just as legendary as all the characters in the game. The choir is singing this song completely in Latin, and when you hear a choir sing in Latin, you know they mean serious business. Serious business. But the rest of the soundtrack is just music that's been cut and pasted with a glossy coat from other games. So I say no, you don't belong on this list, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. But you can stay, Mr. Theme Song. You can stay. Okay, and our number 1, Marvel vs. Capcom 3! Oh, no, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. That soundtrack is terrible. It's just cut and paste lazy stuff from other things. No. Okay. There we go. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. That's better. Yeah, another versus game. Alright, whatever. I don't care. It's my list. But this game's really not like all the other versus games. And this is why. Listen. Okay. No, really. Listen to this. It's jazz music in a fighting game. The songs are chaotic, fast-paced, and really colorful. Oh hey, what do you know? It's just like the game itself. Colorful, chaotic, and fast-paced. You getting the idea here? Getting it? It's such a unique idea to take this kind of music and set it to a fighting game that's this fast-paced. You don't really hear too much unique stuff like that nowadays. Okay, I gotta admit, I'm being a smidge biased here, but that's because I had some really good memories tied to this game, a bit of nostalgia. I remember walking into my local game shops as a kid, looking for the newest and bestest Dreamcast games, and every time I walked into this particular shop, I was greeted with this song. You know, nostalgia and all that. So, there you go. Plus, when you play a game like this that has jazz in the soundtrack, you get to put your nose high in the air and feel all snooty and say, I've acquired a taste for freeform jazz.
I wanna take you for a ride.